some
Or
multiple of 3.
It's 4 o'clock.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Welcome to our online workshop brought to you by Tynkertopia. I'm Dr. Ellis Christie, the founder and executive director, and I'd like to introduce you to David. David is our science specialist. And Natalie is our volunteer coordinator. You two want to introduce yourselves a little more?
Oh, sure. So I have been working with Tynkertopia for less than a year. It's one of my favorite things to do since I've moved to Flagstaff, and I can't wait until we open again.
Wonderful. David?
I am a master's student in education, and I've been with Tynkertopia since just before the epidemic.
All right. So welcome, everyone. We're going to be building paper bridges today. So you want to be getting some recycled newspaper or some recycled paper or some recycled construction paper. And we're going to begin with a PowerPoint presentation. And I'm going to share my screen with you. So here we go. So we're going to be talking about the powerful triangle and what makes it so special among all the shapes that we have available to us. So triangles are the strongest shape of all the polygons. They're stronger than squares, they're stronger than rectangles, they're stronger than octagons, pentagons, hexagons, anything. They're the strongest of all of the squares. And the equilateral triangle is the strongest of all. And that's a triangle where all sides are the same length and all angles are the same size. And so today we're going to create our models. We're going to probably just make models of forts, maybe not really large forts, from recycled paper. And it can be newspaper or printer paper or construction paper or any other scratch paper that you have around. I wouldn't suggest toilet paper, however. It just would not be strong enough. And we're going to be making forts out of our triangles. And here you can see 2 young people who have made forts with us in the past, and the forts that they were able to create. But first, I've got a video to show you that's really informative about triangles. So let's take a look.
As I walk around the city, I tend to notice the shapes of things. Check out that elevator shaft up there. Triangles that are stiffening the structure around it. That walkway down there has triangles all over it, as does the dock right underneath, actually. And of course, huge triangles made out of rope in tension, supporting the masts of that tall ship. Why do all these structures use triangles? It's because triangles support, stabilize, and stiffen the structures. Support, stabilize, stiffen. Hey, cool, 3 S's. You can make a triangle out of that. Triangles are really powerful. To demonstrate how powerful triangles are, I'm going to use a really classic project. Toothpicks and some gummy worms to join them to build a structure that's hopefully strong enough to hold up this brick. I'm going to use scissors to chop the gummy worms into little gummy connectors.
Oops.
So I have now a very nice little cube. I'm going to let it go in 3, 2, 1. One of the big challenges we're running into with this particular design is that it's all built out of parallelograms. A parallelogram is a shape with opposite sides that are parallel and equal in length. And you can see when we stick the brick on top of this structure, the connectors aren't that strong. So instead of staying up, the whole thing just flattens. Instead, let's try building a structure based on a triangle. As I apply force to the triangle, you can see that it has a lot of stiffness. No flattening this shape. 4 triangles all stuck together. But the fancy name for this shape is a tetrahedron. So I'm just going to keep adding triangles until I have enough structure to support the brick. Nice. Those triangles are not flattening like the parallelogram. The triangles are braced against each other for stability. It's a nice strong structure that supports the brick, even though the little connectors we used aren't that strong all by themselves. What a great shape. You know, when I think about it, I use triangles all the time when I build stuff. The next material I'm going to work with is some aluminum cans. The cans are strong in compression, which means they can hold weight when they're pushed on the top and the bottom. To show how strong they can be, I'm going to stand on one. And you can see how much load was on it because all we had to do was tap the side and it didn't have the stability to resist that tiny, tiny side force. The whole thing went crushed. I'm going to build myself a stool out of recycled cans, some duct tape, and paint sticks. Here's leg number 1, times 2, times 3, times 4. These are going to be the 4 legs of my stool. Time for some paint sticks. I know this isn't going to work out so great because what shape is it? Parallelogram. And this parallelogram, without additional stability, will flatten like this. So I'm going to add some triangles to stabilize it. Check it out. A triangle here and another triangle here. Let's see if this thing still acts like a parallelogram or not. No, it's actually a lot stiffer. Now I guess all I need is something to sit on top of. It's still wiggling a little bit. If I add more triangles, the stiffness of the structure should increase a bit. Yeah, that's actually a lot more stable. These triangles in this structure are giving me those 3 S's: stability, stiffness, and support. The stiffness and the stability increased thanks to adding more triangles. So now the stool can support me. Anytime I'm looking to support, stabilize, or stiffen something I'm making, I'm going to add a triangle.
All right. Great video. Showed us how strong triangles can really be. So we're going to begin creating our forts. And what I'd like to do is show you each of the steps, and then we can start our building process. So first of all, let's learn a little bit more about triangles. I'll ask a question there. How many triangles do you see in this picture?
6.
6?
No, 10.
10. Any more than 10? Let's see. We have 1, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And do we have like a suggested triangle right there? Another suggested triangle right there?
Can we make a blanket fort?
Can you make a what?
Blanket fort that we could sleep in?
You could, if you built a big enough fort, you could drape blankets
Me
over
and my
it.
brother do it all the time.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Take a picture and send it to me, okay? All right, so now this is all sorts of ways that you're going to see triangles out and about in the world. So first of all, we're going to look at triangular buildings. Anybody know what this building and this building are called? What letter does that look like?
A-frame house. It's an
Good
A-frame house.
job. They're A-frames. All right. But then this is a really interesting triangular house, isn't it? It's got interior windows and exterior windows. And what about triangular landmarks? Do any of you know a landmark that's triangular or made of triangles? Here's a really famous one.
Ah,
What is that?
The Eiffel Tower.
All right. Now, I'm not going to ask you to count all the triangles here. How many triangles do you think there are?
Over 1,000.
I would say so. And look, going up here, triangles, triangles, triangles. There's also triangular artwork. So this famous painting, does anybody know the name of this famous painting? This is the
Mona Lisa.
job. And you see the triangle here? Good artwork often comes from triangles. And these are two quilts that both have triangles. And here's another beautiful piece of triangular artwork. And what about triangular architecture? We've got windows, we've got archways. We've got steps. Look at the triangle here in this step. And here we have an entryway into a house with a triangle. And look at this amazing building. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 triangles on every floor and on each of 4 sides. So there's a math problem for you. How many triangles would you find there? And look, even inside the triangle, we have other little triangles. That's an amazing piece of architecture. And here's another beautiful building made with triangles. We also name a triangular food. Who can name one? Natalie, can you name one?
all I can think of is sandwiches that could be cut in
All
triangles.
right. And
Common
Dave,
passion.
Pie. Chips.
Ah,
look.
whoa.
Pizza.
So you've got all sorts of triangular pieces of food. What about
It
triangular?
only kind of counts with the food because some of them you cut up and some of them like with the chips, yeah, it's fine. But with the pie you cut up, the watermelon you cut up, sandwich you cut up, pizza. So it's like half of them are like, you know.
So all of those things except for the sandwich that we cut up, what's the original shape?
Circle.
Square.
Circle.
Not
What's
the
this?
sandwich.
Original
Circle or
shape?
sphere?
Circle. Good job. Or a sphere? Not quite a sphere. A circle.
Watermelon sphere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. What about triangular school stuff?
Ooh, the triangular ruler thing.
The triangular ruler thing. That's one. Look, have any of you used triangular crayons?
Yeah. Ooh, a tent.
And, you know, maybe in the lower grades, they might have a triangular tent. And what's this?
A table.
Table or a moving desk or table. What about triangular things that use the wind?
Windmills.
Is that triangular?
Sail.
A sail. Let's look.
Oh.
Look at that. A sail.
Oh, paragliders. I forgot about those.
How about a kite? And
Wings are
look
kind
at
of
this.
triangular.
This is the trade route that early people from America and Europe and Africa took. And this is because of the trade winds that go in a triangular pattern.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah. What about triangular logos? Can any of you think of a company logo that's triangular?
Dorito.
Let's look. Mitsubishi, Adidas. And what about the the recycle symbol? Is that a triangle?
It's more of a circle.
Well,
I was supposed to look at my shoes, I guess.
oh, your Adidas shoes. Yep, there you go. And look at this. Even the Tynkertopia logo is a triangle, sort of. Google Drive.
That's not really a triangle. You just put triangle in the picture.
I was trying to tease you. So Delta is an airline. All right. How about triangular signs? Where do you see?
Delta is also a Greek letter.
It is also a Greek letter, and it's also something we're going to see later.
I can hear you.
I'm pretty sure euros have like triangular things.
Let's look. This is an American dollar, and there is
Oh, the Illuminati thingy.
There you go. And what about all of these? What are these?
Signs.
Road
Warning
signs.
signs.
Okay, and they're all in a triangle, and the triangle means warning. It's two triangles put together as a diamond, really. All right, what about triangular
Is there
toys?
such thing as triple left or triple right?
Triple left or triple right, like on a sign?
Yeah. Because it says
Well-
double bend or like double, it could be like double left or double right. Triple
Right.
that's 3.
So this is like, first of all, go right, then go left. Yeah,
And then
interesting.
But you could go right, left, right.
You could, absolutely. All right, what about triangular toys?
Triangular phone.
Mhm.
Look at these. Fidget spinner is in the shape of a triangle. And wooden blocks, and here's like a magnetic thing that you can build.
You count the end of a hockey stick a part of a triangle? Like
It-
the way it's taped on my stick, it kind of looks like a triangle, but not exactly like.
I think you're right. Actually, I really do think you're right. Great. And what about triangular bridge supports? You've seen lots of these, I'm sure. Look at all of these. This is with the 3 S's: stability, support, and stiffness. That's what
Most bridges are just triangles and squares.
You're right, exactly. And have any of you ever heard of Zentangles?
I think so.
Yeah.
Here are 3 sets of Zentangles, all which feature triangles. This is a form of artwork that you do with pen and paper, and it's just repetitive lines. And you can see that they've been formed into amazing triangles. Oh, what about triangular party stuff?
Hat.
What are these things called? These musical instruments?
Ukulele triangle.
Ukulele triangles. Good job. And a party hat and a banner. And did you know that there are triangles?
I'm a little afraid of spiders, so I'm gonna.
Have any of you ever seen a triangular spider?
No.
I haven't.
I don't think I want to.
Crabs are trying to triangle shapes.
These
I
guys are
consider them a
mostly-
crab.
These are mostly found south of the equator. These types of
The
spiders.
spiders are really scary.
And have you ever seen a triangular fish?
Yes.
Let's look.
Oh, good, the spiders are gone.
We have a manta ray here in the middle, and then 2 other.
That's a
Angel
stingray.
Yeah,
And they're kind of the same thing, Sasha.
there we go. Triangular Celtic knots. Each of those.
Oh yeah, I like these thingies.
Aren't they neat? It's hard to figure out the beginning and the end because they're all intertwined. And what about pyramids? Are they triangular?
They're prisms.
They're prisms, which how many sides, how many triangles are in a prism?
5.
4.
5.
I think
Four.
4.
4 because the bottom is a square.
Oh yeah.
You got it. That's great thinking. All right, what about, have you guys studied triangular numbers in school?
4. Lots of them.
Look at this. 1, plus 1 plus 2 is 3. That makes a triangle. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. That makes a triangle. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. That makes an even larger triangle. Numbers are amazing that way. And we talked about the delta before. This is a delta at the bottom of a river. Does anybody
That's the
know?
delta at the bottom of the Nile River.
That's the bottom of the Nile. And what's a river in America that also has a very big delta?
Mississippi.
You got it. And there's even triangular masks. So if you want to be safe during the pandemic and want to wear a mask, you can try creating or finding a triangular.
That's a mask with a triangle on it.
It is. Look at
That's
that.
like that's kind of the depressing end of the slideshow.
It's not the end of the slideshow. Don't worry.
Okay.
So don't feel too
That's a
depressed.
little depressing of an end.
We'll go on to something much more fun. Now we're going to start building our paper fort. So, and we're going to use what shape?
Triangle.
Triangle.
Good job. All right. And here's the materials you're going to need: paper and tape. And here's the tools.
Got them both.
Scissors and stapler. Now, you can either use tape or you can use stapler, or you can try both to connect the triangles together. I found that staples make a more strong triangle.
Ah, too bad we don't have any stapler.
Well, you can use tape. So I'm going to show you step by step all the steps, and then I'm going to come back and show you these slides again. So we're going to start with just a plain piece of newspaper or recycled paper or construction paper. And the first thing we do is make a small what? What's this?
Triangle.
Triangle. Okay. And then we're going to take it and turn over the paper in maybe 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch strip. And the smaller you make it, the stronger your triangle will be. And then we're going to turn it some more. And then slowly that little triangle in the middle is going to disappear. And you're going to continue rolling and folding. You're going to make creases in it each time until you get to the very end. And that's when you're going to get a piece of tape. And it doesn't have to be Scotch tape. It could be masking tape or washi tape. And you're going to tape it together so that you've got your rolls that look like the rolls I'm holding up or the rolls that I'm showing. So you can see they're pretty skinny. I'm going to get out a measuring device, and I'm going to measure. Mine is 1/4 of an inch. So you need to really roll it tightly if you want it to be as strong as possible. And then this is what it might look like if you made it out of construction paper. And then what you want to do is hold up all your little pieces like this. And these parts on the end are the weakest because they have very little paper here. So you're going to snip off the little parts at the end, and that helps you make all of your paper sticks the same length, and it cuts off the weak part.
Anyway, but I'm still on my first one of these.
Oh, well, I'm going to come back and show you through these steps again. This is just a sort of a demo. Then I'm going to lay them out on the table to make my triangle. And then I'm going to staple them. And stapling the first one together is a little tricky, but just have patience and persevere. And then I'm going to start making more of my triangles. So first I'm going to make one, then I attach a second, and then I can attach a third. And this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. And then I can start putting them above the triangles that I've already created and making the next row, which will make your fort even bigger. And so here is the beginning of my one fort. I've made 3 different forts. So this one I made out of quarter pieces of newspaper. So it's fairly small. This one I made out of whole sheets of newspaper. And I'll show you in a minute what could fit into that fort. And this one was made out of that construction paper. So you see your fort can take lots of different shapes depending upon how you want to build it. So here's my big fort again. And you can see my chair in my living room behind it. It's taller than my chair. It's way taller than that little table. And each of those tiles is 2 feet that you see on the floor. So you can judge how large that one is. And then I put some paper flowers that I was making in my fort. And then I think you'll like this one. My little doggy went into my fort and had a grand time. And then here is a fort made by one of our kids. And you can see how well that kid fits into the fort. And then here, these 2 children are Tynkertopia kids who made the fort at home and then sent me that picture.
They fit in it very well because they're small.
So we're going to go way back to the beginning, and we're going to do this so that you can see each one of the steps. And we're almost there. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
I've started rolling my papers and I noticed that one I didn't do as tightly as the others. So it's a lot thicker. Would I be able to use that, or should I try to only use the ones that are similar?
Hold up the 2 so I can see the thin one and the thicker one.
Okay, so here most of them look like this. Can you
Yes.
see me? And then
Yes.
this one came out. This is one of my first ones.
Well, Natalie, you could use it, but it's going to be less strong.
Okay.
So if you are going for strength, I would recommend that you create another one.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do that. Mhm.
Okay, so on the, actually it's one more back. So we're going to start with our just folding. So I'm going to bend down my screen so you can see me do it and you can see the picture. So I'm going to, here's my newspaper. I'm going to start with my small triangle. And David, are you going to show yours as well?
Yeah, sure.
And Natalie, I'm not sure. Do you have a computer that it's a desktop, not a laptop?
I have a laptop. I can.
Okay. So if you watch me, I'm really making my folds very tight. And then I pick it up and I fold it again. And I turn it and fold it again. And I keep on folding and pulling it down. So now there's only a tiny little piece of my first triangle. And I'm going to keep on.
I'm noticing that the more I make, the better I get at keeping them tight.
Yes, practice makes perfect. So if you think that you want the finished product to be 1/4 of an inch, then you know you're going to need to make your first fold less than 1/4 of an inch. Maybe even as small as 1/8 of an inch. Or for those of you who are interested in metric, maybe it should be 5 millimeters or 1/2 of a centimeter. And keep on making really good folds as you go.
One of mine is like at its base is half a millimeter. Well, not half one, but like about a millimeter.
That's going to be a really tight one.
It is. Now, look, you can see I'm at the maximum length.
It's
And
4:30.
now each time I roll, my triangle stake will not get any longer. So here I am, I'm nearing the end of my paper, and notice what I have left. What's that shape? Another triangle.
Triangular.
There you go. So here I did that one, and now we're doing this one, and we're getting all the way close to the end. All right, so here I am just about at the end, and I'm going to grab my piece of tape. And if you can see my hands, I'm going to put my tape right over that triangular point and wrap it around. And now I've got my first of my sticks that I will use to make my triangle. So there's the picture of, I'm rolling, and then I am taping. So we need to do that how many more times to make our first triangle? How many more sticks do we need to make our first triangle? I think I need 2 more because the triangle has 3 sides.
I think so too.
All right. Now, when I look at my newspaper, I try to put the most colorful side at the end so that my stick will be sort of variegated in color. But if I just have a piece with nothing but print, it'll just be black and white. So whatever piece you have is going to work just fine. So I'm starting my second, and I'm going to start with my triangle. So you guys, Callum, how many sticks do you have made?
2. One of them was too big though, so I am not gonna use it probably.
Okay, that's a good thought.
But my things aren't really even. Aren't we supposed to put them into the other holes of the other ones, or do we just tape them together?
You can, well, first of all, you tape the one and make it stick. Then when we have 3, you can either tape it or staple it. Sasha, how many do you have done? Oh, how about Whitney? I mean, Ian. Or Braden or Allison. How are you coming?
Yeah, Mackenzie and Sasha ran off and are making forts out of blankets instead of paper.
Okay. Well, Brandon, you could make a paper fort.
Just might.
Okay.
And how about when you start cutting the ends? Did you cut them all at the same time, or did you cut one and use it as a guide for your others?
I cut mine all at the same time. I held them up like this.
Uh-huh.
Let me get my scissors. I have to go find my scissors. And I just sort of snipped about an inch, maybe a little bit more than an inch.
Ah.
And now David's got his first actual triangle, 2 triangles already together.
Mine kind of is gonna look more like that rectangle with the triangle top. It kind of looks more like that one.
That's
Because
okay.
the paper.
You can make all kinds of different shapes.
You saw each one of mine was a different shape. So what our hope is that when we finish at 4:45, which is in about 10 minutes, that each one of you will have made your first triangle. And then the rest of the afternoon or tomorrow, you'll keep on making the sides of your triangle and create 3 or 4 or 10 or 20 triangles that all can go together into creating a paper fort. So our goal is to have our 3 sides done and then to connect them for our first triangle.
Hey, Dr. Ellis, could you stop sharing
Yeah.
so we can see your screen a little bigger?
Okay. That was a good idea.
We can go back when we get to the next steps.
Here we go.
Now
All
we can.
right. And then I'll put my screen down here. Is that better?
Yeah. I like
Yes.
this.
Okay.
We can see
All
this
right. So
live.
I just taped my second, and now I'm going to make my third.
All right, so 1, 2, 3.
You've got 3, Natalie?
Yes, I have more than that, and I'm picking the ones that are the most evenly sized.
All right.
Uh-oh, one's a little longer. Should I trim it?
Sure. Just snip it. Because remember, Natalie, what's the strongest triangle? An equilateral triangle.
Oh, yes. Okay, right.
The sides the same length and the angles the
Angles the
same.
same. Yes, of course.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
So a stapler is better than tape, huh?
Well, David and I felt that when we were doing this project, when we were trying out how to create this project.
Well, I just tried to get up to get my stapler, but my earbuds were attached. So
Oh.
I came back and I'll use tape.
So, David, are you showing your screen also? What do we see?
Yeah. I've made a pyramid so far.
All right.
It's actually quite sturdy, quite stiff.
And sturdy, stiff, those are all the good S words that we read about in the movie. Now, what is the base of your pyramid? What shape is it?
It's also a triangle.
All right.
It's a triangular pyramid.
It can be
I
triangular.
mean, it can't really be like a prism without the prism parts.
So it could have a base of 3 or 4. Could be a square or a triangle. All right, so I'm about ready to finish up my third piece. And I'm going to get my tape. And I'm going to tape it right here. And now I have to go get my scissors. I'll be right back.
Pretty sure mines are going a little bit more towards quantity over quality. It's like they're really flimsy, but they're really tall and pretty easy.
You'll get better and better at making the beams as you do them.
Oh, beams, that's a good word. I've been struggling with what to call them. All right, so I've got my 3. I'm going to move my other newspapers out so you can see them a little bit better. Here we go. I've got my 3, just like this. And mine are all, they look about the same width and they're all about the same length. So I'm just going to pick them up like this. And I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to snip about like that on that end. And here's my 3 little extra pieces. Then I'll flip it around and I'll cut off this much. And so here's my extra pieces, which I can take and throw into my recycle bin. So I'm going to now lay my triangle out on my desk. There we go. That's looking pretty good. So maybe I'll do one corner with tape and one corner with a stapler so that you can see how they each work. David, did you staple or tape your
I
corner?
use staples.
You did.
Yeah.
I like staples best myself.
My tape seems to be working pretty well.
Good. So here I've got my stapler and I'm going to put my two pieces under here like this. And I've got my first piece of my triangle. And now I'm going to get my second.
The time is 4:40.
Thank you. I will put the last slide up in just a few moments. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Oops.
It's a shame.
So I now have my first triangle all completed. Now,
I'm almost done with my weird looking like triangle thinking. It kind of represents like a tent. It's a little sturdy with just 2 plates, but I need like a 3-person.
all right. And you know what? Once you finish this activity, if you want to, try to do it again with a different size paper, that would be great. That would help you really understand the power of triangles. Now, how many more, what did you call them, David? That was such a good term. Beams. How many more beams do I need to create my second triangle that's going to be attached to my first?
3 more, and then 3 more.
Do I need 3 beams or do I need, look, here's my one triangle. Do I need all 3 of these beams?
Oh, no.
No. How many do
Oh
I?
yeah, you only need 2.
That's right. I only need 2 to form my next triangle. Okay, so I'm going to take and snip mine again so that they're the right size and they're very stable. So here I'm just going to repeat that little snip, and I'm going to repeat the little snip on the other end.
Is there any emojis I can do that's not in like this, cause like Science Week? Because I think this is really fun, and I might want to do these like some other times.
Well, you know what? When Tynkertopia opens back again, and that's going to happen as soon as it's safe.
Is there like any like ones we can do next week? Because I'm pretty sure it still continues on next week. Can I do any ones of these on next week?
You know what? I've been thinking about that. We used to do this 3 times a week in the early spring and the summer. And I'm thinking that we might restart that so that kids like you could join us. And maybe we'll do it 2 times a week. And would you be interested?
Yeah, it'll be fun to like join us like maybe once or twice a week and like do a little fun project.
So when you email me your photo of what you built, you can also say you'd like to participate in online meetings again. So I'm going to go share my screen on another time so that we can get that address that we need. And that is going to be, we're going to see the steps one more time so you can see how that looks. Am I forming triangles when I make my slides move from one to the other? I'm forming prisms, aren't I?
Right.
As they move. All right. So you can email your photos of your fort to Tynkertopia to info@tynkertopia.org, or text to 928-326-3400. But what I'd like you to do is tell me whether you'd be interested in having some online meetings in the future. So those of you who are tuned in now, either by YouTube or our Zoom meeting, please let me know of your interest.
So
So
it's 45 after now.
yes, for those of you who are at YouTube, thank you. We enjoyed working with you and we hope to see you again. Please.
Bye, YouTube.
Goodbye, YouTube.
Now that we're not streaming anymore,